11 years ago, same team, same stadium. Drew Brees throws a pick. They run it back. Somebody on the sideline grabbed him and said, "You broke it. You go fix it." Throws the ball to Morales.
Sure.
In your decision, once overtime started, does anything like that flash in your mind, or are we?
Not until you just brought it up.
Okay.
You know, but a great story, and it's true. I remember I was here for that game, and it was a tough situation, and Drew threw the pick, and we threw 3 or 4 picks that day, and still found a way to come back and win the game. And a similar situation today. Really happy for Robert Marv to be able to take us down there and make that great run at the end and put us right down there on the 1-inch line, and then get it in on the sneak. So similar scenario, and a great story with a great inning today, obviously.
Could you take us through? I mean, they kicked the field goal. Okay, so you know what you have to do.
Right.
The play calling, just the way that last drive developed, could you kind of capsulize it or talk about that, how you developed it?
Well, I thought Coach Nord has a great game plan. You know, we have certain things that we do that we refer to as bread and butter, things that we put in the first day of camp, certain runs, certain protections, certain plays, and when it gets down to crunch time, you get back to bread and butter. We had some special plays that we did not call throughout the course of the game that I thought may have popped open, and we were deliberating whether or not we'd stick with some of the bread and butter or whether or not we'd call one of our special plays, and we kind of hung our hat on what we've done the most and the best, and it paid off for us.
Can you talk about the improvement in the run defense? They had 160 yards, but I think only averaged 3-something, particularly considering it wasn't the best the last couple of weeks.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with where they're at the quarterback position. Even though he's a very, very talented quarterback, he's a freshman quarterback, and normally a freshman quarterback can't come out there and manufacture the passing offense. That would propose a threat to your defense where they'd have to spread themselves so thin that we couldn't defend the run. And I felt like we could go out there and load the box up and play very solid and sound against the run. So hats off to our defense. We tackled better. We were more physical across the line of scrimmage. Being at home brings energy to our football team. Having our fans there and our student section there and the Ross Aid Brigade there makes a huge difference in our football team. And I thought it was a combination of a lot of things.
You talk about Kalan's day and just how he disrupted things on that offensive line.
He's a heck of a football player, and he's getting better. We've talked about him all season long, and he's made great improvements. I still don't think he's even close to what he can be. I think he has an unbelievable upside, and I think that this time next year he'll be one of the dominant players at his position on a national level. He has certainly surfaced as one of the top players at his position in our league. He's an outstanding defensive tackle, and he'll keep getting better and better.
Danny, you don't get into overtime without the block extra point. Can you talk about that?
We work on it all the time, and we've had a blocked kick early in the year that won a ball game for us, and they had no business being down there lining up kicking it. And I like the fact that our defense, laid their ears back and got their butts in the air and came off the ball and went after it with great push. Sometimes when you're in a situation like that, you don't know how everyone's going to respond, but hats off to our defensive players for getting after it. And we spend a lot of time on special teams. We probably spend more time on special teams than any other BCS football team. We have an unbelievable commitment to special teams from a staffing standpoint, a scholarship commitment standpoint, practice time standpoint, the way our staff is structured. A lot of it has to do with trying to feature special teams as being our difference maker, and it has been throughout the course of the season.
Seems like they're on your sideline when they score the touchdown. It looks like you guys are behind, and then you block the PAT, and then you immediately realize you're going to have a chance to win this thing.
Absolutely.
What was the range of emotion like?
Well, we've a lot of excitement, a lot of energy, and really you look at college football the last several weeks, and you look at the scores, and it's unbelievable. 1 week a team will upset a top-ranked team, and the next week they'll get beaten by 40 or 50. So football is a game of energy and a game of emotion, and we had both of those today. We had a chance to win the ball game and felt like we were going to manufacture a drive and line up and kick a field goal and win it without going into overtime. And we have an outstanding field goal kicker. We had to win at our back in the fourth quarter, and that gave us the confidence that all we had to do was get the ball to about the 40-yard line, and he'd be nailing a 50-something yard field goal to win the game.
Did you try it longer?
Would I have? Yeah. I thought he was hitting them very well today. Going into the win was tough. We came out in pregame, and he lined that ball up all over the place, kicking it into the win, and it was unbelievable, the swirling and how far he had to aim outside of the goalpost in order to get it to go through the goalpost. I'm glad that we were going the other way. We were fortunate that we won the toss. you know, deciding that we could go on defense first into overtime, and also that we had the wind behind our back, and also down there in our student section. So a lot of things fell in our favor at the end of the game.
Given all that Robert Marv has gone through in his career, it's been kind of an odd career. How does it make you feel to finally see him sort of have his moment like this?
Well, I'm really happy for him, because I haven't been around too many players that have put in more and gotten less than what Robert has. So today was his day, and he came through for us, and he was an integral part of us winning the ball game. And really happy for our football team, and happy for all of the Boilermaker Nation. But I'm really happy for Robert Marv. Really happy for Robert Marv.
So I hit the drum on your way out. You always have a spot, I think, on the band. Describe the emotion involved, and just, you know, how you feel, and, you know, seeing all the hard work sort of pay off on a day like
Well, the band and I, we're pretty tight. You know, I'm serious about that. I'm an honorary member of the band, and they come to my office every Friday and spend time with me. They're like us in a lot of ways. They put a lot more time into what they do than anyone ever gives them any credit for. And all you have to have is a couple of them out of beat, and it's not beautiful music, and football's the same way. So we visit back and forth throughout the course of camp, and really close with the band. So it was an honor to go over there and beat the drum with the guys from the band, and they're as happy about the win today as we are. We're very close with our band. They're a big part of the Purdue and the Purdue pride and the Purdue spirit.
Dan, you seemed to move like Joe Holland up on the line closer. Logan was closer. Do you feel like you had to outnumber him a little bit?
Yeah, we definitely had to outnumber them.
Right, just how those guys played and maybe impacted their run game.
I thought we did a great job with our game plan defensively, and we were able to put some extra defenders in the box, and sometimes you can crowd the linebackers up at just the right distance to the line of scrimmage, where it'll slow down some of the double teams up front. If you put them right up on the line of scrimmage, you kind of deal your hand. If the linebackers are backed off the ball 4.5 yards deep in their normal alignment, they can get on double teams and stay on double teams. You move them up kind of in that gray area, sometimes it can confuse the offensive line some, you know, in that crowd alignment. I thought we did a good job of getting ourselves in some crowd alignments by our linebackers at some time, and I thought that took away some of the double teams by their offensive line up front. They have a very big, strong offensive line. So I thought we did it as a change-up pitch. We didn't wholesale and do it, but I thought our crowd alignments helped us some throughout the course of the game.
Danny, would you talk about it was away from you, opposite side, but the pass to Bush that almost was a touchdown, they reviewed it. Was he the primary receiver there, or how did that pass pattern unfold?
I have to see it on film to reflect on it, to make good decisions on it. There's a lot of plays throughout the course of the game, and I'd rather not comment on that play. Okay.
Kitchen mentioned that Robert is the kind of guy, kind of quarterback. Sometimes he makes you cry, sometimes he makes you smile. What is it like coaching him, and given his talents, and sometimes the things he does?
Well, he's a joy to coach. You know, he really is. He's missed a lot of reps in the last couple of years. You know, a lot of where he's at right now is a result of not being able to play near as much football as a guy that's this far along in his career. But as far as a guy that's going to come out and give you great effort and put the team first and be, you know, a high energy guy, encouraging to all of his teammates. He's never one time on the sidelines been into anything other than the team winning. You know, so I think I've said it all along. I think Robert Marv is a great team player. A lot of people don't know him well enough to really appreciate all the things that he really stands for. So I'm really proud of Robert, and I think the win today and him being able to play and make the plays at the end of the game and be a big part of winning the game is the fuel that he needs for his soul.
Is he going to come back next year? Is he going to get a 6th year?
I don't know if he will or not. If it was up to me, he sure would, but just somebody else to get that call.
Coach,
Go ahead. Go ahead, young man. Go ahead, you're right here.
You guys scored on your first possession. Again, what was the difference in maintaining that emotion, keeping the guys up, and not having let down like the last 2 weeks?
I think we've done a good job offensively, taking the field with a game plan that's been able to keep the defense off balance some. We don't really have a featured player. You know, you don't look and see a back that's rushed for 1,000 yards or a receiver that's leading the Big Ten in receptions, but we have a lot of playmakers on our football team, and we do a good job of spreading the wealth around, and I think that keeps the defense off balance some. And then we went a lot of no huddle today, and that was really important for us because it slowed down a lot of the movement and pressure that Ohio State likes to bring. It kept them a little bit vanilla in their front, and that's what's best for our offensive line today. But we've scored, I have to look it up, but several times this year on our openers, and one of our, we think, keys to victory for us is to start fast and to create some momentum and create some positive karma out on the field. And it worked that way against Minnesota. It worked that way against Illinois. It worked that way again today against Ohio State.